Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Hey, we got the spring planting here. We started the live the other day here. These pansies look so beautiful here. We got, what is it, April the 16th, 2025. We got bright, beautiful sunshine, but it's a little chilly. It's like 46 degrees. It's this the time of year where we get the bright, beautiful September sunshine, but it feels like winter still. You see people are wearing the hats and some jackets. Maybe it's warmer in the suburbs here. We'll head by the Prudential buildings here. Krista, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Sharon, hey, thanks everybody. Yeah, we'll say hello to the lunch bunch here. We'll head towards Lakeshore East. And Chicago's new east side. Hey, they can deliver the lunches here. Yeah, there's always people getting lunches for meetings and stuff here. This is there's the original Prudential building here, late 1950s, about 1960. This was built, it had an observation deck at the top. That was once the tallest building in Chicago, the TV antenna, I think that's what it was, or there was some antenna. And then this is the annex, the newer Prudential tower, built in 1988, just under 1,000 feet tall. It's like 999 or something. There's the back of the, I used to call that the Doral, but now it's Millennium Plaza. Everything's Millennium. But hey, Amber, how you doing there, Michael? Yeah, the grid of flowers there. It's been a while. That's okay. Thanks, Amber. Thanks for tuning in here. So we'll go check the 400 North Lakeshore development site. We'll walk by there. Last time we went by, they were about 15 stories in the air. They were just starting to put on the curtain wall on the lowest floors. So we'll see if they made any progress. I think we walked over there over a week ago. And what we got Wednesday? Yeah, the Bulls play tonight. The Bulls play the Heat. They got a play-in game. See, so that next to the Prudential here is the Aon. It was originally the Standard Oil building. Then it was the Amoco building. Now it's the Aon, which is insurance. And a competitor of Prudential, 1,100 feet tall. When it was built, this was briefly the tallest building until they topped out the Sears Tower right after it. And it was the second tallest building in Chicago, just a little taller than the John Hancock, until they built the Trump Tower, which is now the second tallest building in Chicago. And as people often mention, Sears Tower is 50 years old. It's amazing there hasn't been a taller building built since that. There's been several planned. They just always seem to succumb to financial crises or funding issues. You know, like the Great Recession is what ended the Calatrava Spire. They were starting construction on it there. Hey, the rare gemstone there. Happy day there, Michael. Going up fast there. Sean, how you doing there? LFC. Yeah, Rob on the road there. How you doing there? So, yeah, they got the bocce ball. Sometimes they play the Bulls. I guess France is called Bulls. Italy, it's bocce, or Spain. Hey, there's the John Kearney statues. They got the family of deer or antelope, whatever they are. And looks like they're working on the fountain. They're getting the fountain ready. Working on the pumps, cleaning it up. See, here's the John Kearney statues. He was famous for making animalistic sculptures out of chrome bumper parts, and that's what this is. And hey, that's nice there. Yeah, the blue sky. It's cold, but it looks nice. So let's go head into the sun here. We're in the shadow of these tall buildings here. But we'll head up through here. Islam. Let's see, Sean. Rob on the road. Yeah, there's so much to explore here. You know, as much as I walk around the loop, like for example, in the Fine Arts building, they have human-powered elevators. I think it's the last building that has, you know, the guy sitting in there on the stool. They're going to replace him, and I've been meaning to go in there. We went by there earlier this week. I guess I could just walk inside there and try the elevator. Maybe catch one of the last rides of the... But it's intimidating going in there because it's like you know, the security is like, why are you here? They see a camera, and so I just don't want to deal with it. But I remember going to some of those buildings along Michigan Avenue. Yeah, you go to the elevator, and there'd be a guy sitting there in the elevator with you, just controlling the floors. And sometimes they would be a little few inches off. Either you stepped up or stepped down, or they would adjust the elevator so it would be aligned with the floor. It was like a handbrake, like manual system to work operate the elevator. The old Otis elevators that go back over 125 years in some cases. But here we'll cross. There's the Aqua. This is Upper Columbus. Driving slow in your tenant window Escalade there. There's, hey, look at these tacos. Wonder if the taco fiend tried any of these taco trucks here in Chicago, which most of these have restaurants. Yeah, recognize that guy. How you doing there? El Jaffe. There's Our Lady Guadalupe there. So I'm going the wrong way. Nah, we can go this way. Let's go. We'll show you Mariano's here. We'll go down the escalator. Sometimes I lose my connection. We'll show you the cheese grater benches here. This is behind the Blue Cross Blue Shield building. Yeah, Mary Treese, Michael, Sean. How's everybody doing? Thanks, Mary Treese. Thanks for being on there. Native's Guide. And the glass one. Please give me some more information here. A lot of these buildings have glass. So I know it looks like you're looking for the name of a specific building. This is the Blue Cross Blue Shield. And that's the Aqua. That's the Aeon. And then there's the Fairmont Hotel. I feel like so demeaned, people just bark out questions and I'm expected to answer. I know that's the name of the game here. It's just after 2.5 years of doing this, people are like, what's that thing with the stuff? The building with the glass, the tall one. I'm like, they're all tall. You know, it's just like you gotta, yeah, I know it's hard. It must be frustrating as a viewer. I'm empathetic to what you're doing. I know J.D. Vance says empathy is a weakness. Elon Musk says empathy is a weakness, but I disagree with them. I wish they were more empathetic. I think they're jerks. But I guess we're in the age of jerks, where it's considered weakness to have empathy. You got to have cruelty, and to be a corporate CEO and run the government like a corporate CEO. That's great. Government is business. Business and government have merged. By-elections. Hey, here's the Village Market. Look at the. I'm just jealous. I wish I could buy elections. Imagine the damage I could do when you want me running the government there and there. Oh, Brian, really? Chicago spent $100 billion to buy the election there. He's got the president's ear there. Here, Village Market. So here are Mariano's, and they got a good lunchtime food court here. Here, let's go in here. So I'm not, I don't work for Mariano's. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm just showing you scenes of the city here. Before live streaming, I would come through here and I would get my lunch here, and I would eat my lunch, and then I would go to the park, because pretty much what I do is what I do anyway. I walk to work. I've been walking to work, but for grocery store here, they got a. I'm trying to go around to the where they got the pay by the pound stuff here. Hey, there I am. See, look, people, boarding in progress. Here I am. I'm on the security cam there. How you doing? And see, you got food here. You got sushi, grab and go here. I used to come here and get sushi, and you got this area you could sit here on the side. Again, if you just join, we're in Chicago, or Mariano's here. I'm just showing you. See, you can just get over there and eat it. And we'll head out here. They got outdoor area here. Look at this great, nice outdoor area they got in the summertime. You can sit out here and eat. And it's a nice amenity for have a grocery store for people that live in all these luxury condos and apartments. And see, we'll head right down to the dog park there. And there's some escalator there. Sometimes I lose my connection. I might have lost my connection when I went inside the grocery store. Hey, Ernesto's tuning in, Michael, and yeah, thanks Ernesto for tuning in there. And Dolores, yeah, Sioux Falls, South Dakota there. Yeah, the cheese grater there. Liverpool, how you doing there? West Green there, how you doing? Thanks everybody here. I'm missing all the comments here. Heather B. Yeah. Oops. I know, I heard the voice. I was like, that's great. A little kid. Yeah, I heard that too. That was great. Yeah. Yeah, they got no empathy. So, escalator here, parking garage behind the Blue Shield building, and then we'll head down to the Lakeshore East here, and we'll head by the dog park here. If I lost my connection, hopefully it'll come back now. Sometimes I lose it when I go down at too much concrete, but hey, here, hopefully we're back here. If I lost my connection, here's oops, this is Lakeshore East. See, we were up there. That's where we were at. We were up there. There's the grocery store. It's 2 levels. Mariano's. So we're looking for signs of spring. Spring comes on really slow in Chicago. Here's this dog park. You see how you got 2 gates to go in there, so you can let the dog off the leash there and it can run around safely, but no one's in it today. It's probably too cold. There's somebody walking the dog there. So we got a few green trees here. They're working on the sidewalks. So we'll head around here. What time we got? 12:13. Hey, there's somebody in shorts. Hey, the dog's checking it out. So they got new sod here. It looks like they put some new grass here. And maintenance of this park. Yeah, we still get snow. Somebody was in Michigan earlier this week, and they said they got some snow in Michigan. I don't know how far up they were. I know the Upper Peninsula, and Michigan's a pretty large state. But hey, thanks for tuning in there. And snow in Ireland? Really? Wow. Yeah, Green Bay, Wisconsin's tuning in. Ireland's tuning in. That's great. Yeah. Snow in Ireland. Second winter. Yeah. That's usually what it feels like. You're at the end of April and you're like, the trees are turning green. Why does it feel cold? We got this bright sunshine, especially by the lake. The lake's only 35 degrees. But the water fountains are on. Look at that. Yeah, in Chicago, they just leave the water fountains on because it just runs back in the lake anyway, and then they pump it back out, filter it again. So you got the divvy bikes. We'll show you there's the St. Regis, 1,100 feet tall, at least that tube on the left there. Jeannie Gang's the architect. There you can look, see, you can look back to, there's the Sears Tower. We're about a mile away from it. We're all the way over in Lakeshore East. That's looking towards the loop. There's the Aeon. There's the Aqua to the right. That's also Jeannie Gang. It's Jeannie Gang. And we'll head by the playground here. And we'll walk over to the stairs. And we'll head towards the lake. We'll head towards DuSable Harbor there. But yeah, probably in a week, next week, these will all be blooming here. I saw Jay City Walking Girl. She caught the pink cherry blossoms in Hyde Park are peaking right now. So check out Jay City Walking Girl's page on TikTok there. And she's got some wonderful footage of the cherry blossoms. It's not just Washington, D.C. and Hyde Park. Again, near the Japanese Garden. It's in Jackson Park. We filmed the Japanese gardens down there south of the Museum of Science and Industry. There's lagoons and near the Midway. And they're just like in Washington, D.C., those cherry trees were donated from Japan to go with at the World's Columbian Exposition. There was Japanese gardens. That garden, that there is the legacy of that garden that was started for the World's Columbian Exposition over 125 years ago. And those cherry trees, they didn't bloom the last 2 years. We were worried about them because our spring was messed up. And this year they bloomed, so they're still going strong. And Jay, City Walking Girl, was able to get over there, and I appreciate it. So here, we'll cross here. So you can take the elevator. Chris, you remember Jen and Nick were streaming here a couple of weeks ago. I saw that they made it over to Lakeshore East here, and Nick's been doing the late night lives, or later in the evening when it's dark, which is nice, and I'm glad. A lot of people are tuning in. They want to see what Chicago looks like after dark, at least the downtown area, and he's showing it to them. That's good. So hey, they're looking back towards the Aeon. There's Aqua. Hey, they blew their plant over. We'll head up the stairs here. Sean, we'll give you a shout out there. Sean Murray LFC, how you doing there? I thought I gave you a shout out, but I'll give you another one. Hopefully you caught it there. See, we're all connected here. Look at the pigeon here. Look at this view. I'll turn those fountains on. Okay, here we'll head across this. And see, this is not the ground. This is on top of a parking garage. I walked up all these stairs because there's parking, which is not underground. It's above ground. And they put this street above it, and it looks like here comes a scooter there. People come out of the parking garage. But that connects with Randolph. There's Lakeshore Drive right there. They call this Cascade Park. 211 Harbor Drive, 1455 Waterside Drive, I guess that's what they call this. Hey, I'll just jump on the scooter. But here we'll head down through this park here, and we'll head towards the lake here. They got a nice dog park over there. Here's the hours, 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. It's only closed for 6 hours a night. Good luck with that. Who enforces it? Yeah, I know crazy stuff could happen at night. Teen takeovers. You watch the news. Nick has filmed some crime scenes. There was that guy that crossed the tape there. It was under the L tracks there in the loop, and somebody didn't see the police tape, and they just were walking through there, and the police were like, "Hey, get out of our crime scene! You're messing with the." And you got to watch that yellow caution tape there. they'll make you part of the investigation. You don't want that. Hey, Naya's tuning in there. Lambie T there. Virtual meeting there. Yeah, let's see, it will be the background music there. Thanks, Naya there. Yeah. So Sean, why you crying there? Hopefully everything's fine. I gave you a shout out. Hey, there you go. Thanks for tuning in here, and appreciate it. I can't really see the emojis that well when I'm using Streamlabs there. See, like Sean, there it is. Hey, how you doing there, Sean? Thanks for the nice emojis there. I appreciate it there. Dolores, Naya, Michael. Surviving with Terry. Yeah, good. You could stay away. Surviving with Terry. Yeah, don't come to Chicago. It's not for you. You can watch my live streams. You can watch Nick. See, we'll take the risk. That's why this has value, because you don't have to come here. You don't even have to like the city, but I appreciate your watching. And yeah, all cities have problems. I thought this carnage was going to end overnight. Why do we still have crime when Trump is president? We still got crime, and it's even being done by American citizens, not immigrants. I'm joking. The world's a chaotic place. So ask the people that own NVIDIA stock here. Here's Cascade Park. Look at that. No one ever uses this. You always see people using this. And see how you can ride the bike path. You can go underneath there. You don't have to go above. Sometimes we walk down below, but I lose my connection there. But nothing without, you know, nothing worth doing comes without some risk. I don't care what you do. Flying a plane, drive a car. There's dangers everywhere. There's dangers in the city. There's dangers in the country. When I go to my father's house, who lives in the country, I always hear hunters in the woods. You know, that bullet went through my father's shed. You don't know where it came from. Some just random bullet that happens in the city. There, people shoot in the air, and the bullets come down miles away. They do a big arc. You know, meteors come crashing through people's garages. We see all kinds of stuff happening. But again, I'll pose the question. I'll do it for the next 4 years. How can we have a great? I mean, how can America be great if we don't have great cities? You know, France has Paris, England has London, Tokyo has Japan, China has several great cities, Beijing, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and there's probably a dozen more that are bigger than most American cities that most Americans don't even know exist. And they got transit systems and high-speed trains and stuff. Look at Europe has high-speed trains, Japan and China, and we think we're so exceptional because we got a nice interstate system, but we got congestion and it needs infrastructure repair. All these bridges, these crumbling bridges we have, that's why they need to refinance the debt. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to lower the interest rate so they can refinance the debt. All our money's based on debt anyway. Here's Navy Pier. This is DuSable Harbor. So see, there's the Columbia Yacht Club. That's what, there's a big laker there. And here we're already April. We're seeing some of the first boats, sailboats and pleasure craft go into the harbor here. And this is the same level as Lake Michigan. You have to go out through Monroe Harbor. You can't connect to the river this way because the river, you go through the locks. There's the Coast Guard station. If you just join, we're in Chicago here. This is Lake Michigan. This is called DuSable Harbor. And we see boats finally going in for the season. I looked at the calendar for the lifting of the bridges. The first chance we'll get to see sailboats go through the Basque drawbridges there through the loop is next Wednesday. And then for the last 2 Wednesdays of April and all the Wednesdays through May, they'll do a game day decision depending on the weather, if anybody is requesting to go through there or not. And here, let's head up. We'll cross the we'll go underneath here. We'll go to the other side. But here's we'll check out this 400 North Lakeshore development. You had a dream about a boat, but it sank? Oh, well, hopefully that dream won't come true. Yeah. No, Cabrini Green is no longer a public housing development. We walked through there. That's why we talked about it last night. That's what that big empty lot was that we walked through last night where we saw the dog having its birthday. That used to be many towers for Cabrini Green. And there's one small portion, the Francis Xavier Cabrini homes over by Montgomery Wards, where people still live there. So there's a small tiny portion of the last remaining housing from the southern part of Cabrini Green. Now there's a bunch of condemned housing there that we walked by that's not being, it's been condemned. And the rest of it, the tall towers, they tore down at Cabrini Green there. Yeah, you're correct. And here we'll cross. See, that's the 400 Lakeshore development site there. We'll go by it there. We're just doing updates on the progress here. We'll go underneath Lakeshore Drive and we'll cross the bridge looking east. Who's requesting? People are requesting me to go places that, it happens all the time. I'm used to it by now. Yeah, people are just trying to engage with the comments. There's something they're interested in Chicago, and I'm on my lunch break here. I ate an early lunch, and either I eat before or after lunch. I usually spend the noon to 1 hour here walking around, and thanks for tuning in here. I think most people understand what's going on. I can't just, I got a job. I'm tied to my corporate job. TikTok and YouTube doesn't pay the bills, nor do I expect it to. So I'm happy to do this as a hobby. And I appreciate every people who enjoy the comments. I answer what I can. If I can't, you know, you're free to watch something else. And I'm not in this to be TikTok famous. I can't rely on any of these companies. Even if I could make enough money to quit my day job, which has never happened, I can't rely on TikTok being around. It's such a flighty partner for creative content, and YouTube's a little better. But again, you know, maybe this Gemini's making enough. He's got a huge following on YouTube, and he works hard at it, and I appreciate it. I saw him at the C2E2. So here we're going underneath they got all these murals here. We go through here many times. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. We got about upper 40s here. Yeah, very volatile market. Yeah, nice flashbacks. Thanks, Ernesto. Yeah. I don't want to make you cry there, but thanks for having sentimental feelings for this city. The people that have lived here moved away, even if they don't miss the cold winters or the crime or the high cost. They do miss certain aspects of the city they have nostalgia for. And that's why we do this here. So here, 10 minutes to Navy Pier. See, we'll show you when we get up there, we'll show you the Riverwalk here. So here's where we're going. We're gonna go check out it's about the same level as it was last time. It looks like it's about 15 stories, the 400 North Lakeshore development site there. So at least we can cross here. We'll cross the Lakeshore Drive Bridge right there. We'll head over there. And you can walk up to the top. I'm not going to do it because we've done it before. But there's, you see the middle level of Wacker Drive. And there's St. Regis here. We'll head up here. River North there, yeah, that's where we're heading. We're heading to Streeterville, actually. Matt, how you doing there? Yeah. $3,500. This is Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. This is Chicago River. See, we're looking towards the Trump Tower in Chicago. That's the Columbus Bridge. There's the St. Regis Hotel. There's condos there. That's Jeannie Gang. This is all called Streeterville. We're over by Lakeshore Drive. Navy Pier's that way. It's hard to see through the bridge here. We're crossing the Chicago River on Lakeshore Drive Bridge. They call it the DuSable Lakeshore Drive now. And see how the Riverwalk. See, we walk down this Riverwalk on the south side. They're going to extend it on the north side all the way out. It's supposed to go underneath and go to. There's supposed to be a new park here called DuSable Park on the other side of the bridge. And this is a new housing development here. There's going to be 2 towers. They're just starting with one. Doesn't even look like they're starting on the second one. Here comes the boats coming by here. Cleaner than the Mersey. Hey, look at that. There's a pleasure craft there. So the river looks kind of green. Kind of has a green tint to it naturally. They do dye it green for St. Patrick's Day, and we got footage of that. We covered it live as much as we could with the intermittent cell phone signal. This is called Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. It's St. Regis. And so we're crossing, this is the mouth, this is Lake Michigan, this is Lakeshore Drive. So hey, look at this boat. Let's catch these boats going by here. Let's get out into the middle of the bridge here before we check out the 400 North Lakeshore. I saw these boats coming. They're making pretty good progress here, so we can get right above them. Fire and ice, yes. It gets really hot in the summertime. It gets really cold in the winter. We're a city of extremes in more ways than one. But here comes the Wendella boat here. The architectural cruise boats are back giving tours. See, here's right the middle of the bridge here. This is a drawbridge, so this is the middle point. And here, let's get this Wendella architectural cruise boat going right underneath us here. We can wave to people here. Look at that. How you doing? Yeah, there's the pilot. Look at that. Yeah, how you doing? That's awesome. Yeah. So you got one right after the other. See, we can zoom into the Trump Tower there. And then you see the Marina Towers behind it there. Yeah, they could use the first tower as a temple to make the second one there. You're an hour ahead of me. That's good. Thanks, Lampy T. Yeah, you're in the Eastern Time Zone. No, this is architectural cruise boats. They do have passenger ferries. They're called water taxis. These, like this one's empty. They're probably just moving it around. These are architectural cruise boats that you could pay probably like $50 or more. And they show you all the buildings that you can see from the river. It's an architectural tour and a history tour in Chicago. See, they don't even have people on this boat. But there's yellow water taxis. That's the Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago right there. That cleans the river. They clean up garbage. And there is a lot of garbage floating on the river. And there's a kayak launch right there. Urban Kayaks. You got that, Liverpool? That's great. Hey, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, USA there. Oh yeah, you can take the water taxi to Chinatown. That's one of the most interesting ways to get to Chinatown from the loop there. Take one of those yellow water taxis. Chris and Brandon and I did it last year. I hope to do it again this year. So hey, they're hauling out some dirt there. There's the truck. Look at that. So look at this construction site here. So here's the 400 North Lakeshore development site there. Let's count the stories here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I count 17 floors. They're on the 17th floor, so they've added 2 more floors since the last time we were here. The second tower is going to go here. They haven't even started on it. They're still doing excavation. And see, they've got two levels of the glass curtain wall. Let's head over there. Steel reinforced concrete construction. But there, you see how this Riverwalk is going to connect. And then people already live here. This is Streeterville. We're underneath. See, there's Navy Pier. There's the Ferris wheel for Navy Pier right there on the other side in Lake Michigan. So this is going to have wonderful lakefront views. And there you can see the St. Regis there. Hey, look at that. They're digging in that trench right there. Look at that. Wow. Look at this beehive of activity. Look at all this construction. Got this guy moving here. Big forklift. Right here, 400 North Lakeshore Development Site, Chicago, Illinois here. They're digging deep. Look how deep they're digging. Yeah. Scooping that earth out there. Yeah, it'll be a great complex. Yeah, they're dumping the dirt there. You got the rebar. So you see, and this is a unique construction site because they can pull up materials right on the Ogden slip. And it's there's several ways to deliver materials, both by land and by sea. There you can see the glass curtain wall on the lower levels here. And it's the Ogden slip. We'll get around this fence here. Yeah, so much construction. We got several construction sites. Yeah, it was a hole in the ground. It was that hole for the spire there, yeah. So they took the picture down. They had a rendering, but they took the rendering down. Now it just says 400 Lakeshore. You see how they got all the rebar? This is the steel, this is the reinforced rebar that goes inside the columns. And then they pour concrete and it hardens around the steel reinforcement and keeps all the concrete together. And see, you can bring in materials right here on the Ogden slip. And here's the construction site for the 400 North Lakeshore. That yellow stuff's to protect the workers from falling off. So here, let's head down to the Ogden Slip. We can get another view of it here. And so you can get to Navy Pier that way. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go over to Navy Pier. Sometimes we can go to Navy Pier at my lunch and make it back, but I really got to book it, and I've been lollygagging here, so I know if I go over there, I won't have enough time. There's a pleasure craft heading in there at 400 North Lakeshore Development Site here. We'll head down these stairs. Got some wind here. The windy city. Let's get back in the sun here. It feels much better in the sun. Yeah, it's amazing. So there's a tender service. If you go in Monroe Harbor there, you got to take the tender to get out to the sailboats because they just float out there on the buoys. There's the 400 North Lakeshore Development Site. It's seen from the Ogden Slip here. We're looking at it from north looking to south here. So it's taking shape. Starting to look like a real building here. So we'll head down the Ogden Slip. There's some nice flowers over there. Maybe more boats here. And this is the level of the river. So it's not, you have to go out through the river locks. You can't just go straight out to the lake here. There, we'll head down the Ogden Slip. This used to be a big, like, longshoreman's type hall here. It was for a warehouse for loading barges and stuff, and they converted it into housing. Put the balconies on there. So you can take the Chicago Line cruises here where you can catch some of the architectural cruises. I'll take you around the river here. We see people lining up here sometimes. Hoping to go next year. Yeah, 400,000 to 1.5 million. That sounds about right. Now, if you look into it, see if you can find any information. A certain small percentage will be quote-unquote affordable subsidized units. Now, I don't know if that's the 400,000 or if there's going to be a more attainable option for the few lucky people. I'm sure there's a lottery list. You have eligibility income requirements to get that lower. But as part of the new zoning code, there's incentives for developers to include both market rate and affordable units in any development, even something as a prestigious location as 400 Lakeshore. Here's Dorita. Yeah, sometimes we see Dorita in here doing his artwork. He's not there today, it doesn't look like. Yeah, here's multi-million-dollar yachts. Those are probably $1 million to $1 to $2 million yachts right there. And there's here's Pinstripes, Boeing Bistro Bocce Ball. There's a yacht sales around here. That's how we check the prices of these boats. I don't know the prices of things. People always ask me how much stuff costs, and I don't know. Here, yeah, see, look, here, here's some of the. There, $2.7 million, $2.7 million, $2.1 million, $2 million. Oh, 800,000, what a deal. $1 million boat, $1.5 million. Yeah. Hey, look at these dogs. Yeah, there's your $1 million yacht right there, multi-million-dollar yacht. So I often walk through the Gold Coast and River North and Streeterville, and I muse that some of these people's pets are worth more than I am. Very wealthy people live in this area, and they're wealthier than me. For people that have boats, and that's, you know, you got to pay to have a boat slip. Hey, here's Robert's Pizza. Yeah. People having their lunch here. Robert's Pizza and Dough Company here. Yeah, last fall, Grim Evil and I we tried it out after we went to the Lowrider Festival at Navy Pier. We came over here, had some Robert's Pizza. It was pretty good. It was just like regular crust. It wasn't deep dish, because I think they have their own style pizza. It's not Chicago style. There's Live Jazz Winners Jazz Clubs over here. And yeah, let's head over this way here. It's gonna be a studio, $800. Yeah, just give me a ride on the yacht. Yeah, bring some food, we'll make it. I do know a few people that have sailboats. I have gotten out on the lake. It's good to know people with boats. but sometimes I get seasick. I'm a land lover. I have to take the Dramamine. Well, it depends on if there's waves or not, you know. And so here's Streeterville, all the high-rise condo buildings here in Streeterville. There's a great view to the St. Regis, looking down McClurg Court here. I think that's what they call this. We're waiting for the light to change. There we go. So here we'll cross the street there. Hey, how you doing there? And so you can look up to that furniture center, furniture mart up there, or whatever they call that. They changed the name of it. I think we're on Illinois Street, heading towards Michigan Avenue, but first we got to cross Columbus there. Yeah, what are you cooking there? You smell what I'm cooking? Drinking some beer? Yeah, we got some good Irish bars. We got, if you want to check out my reruns from St. Patrick's Day, it's mainly on YouTube, or no, on TikTok. We streamed on TikTok, the Dying the Green River, but we saw some stuff leading up to St. Patrick's Day and National Day. Yeah, we got some good Irish bars. You know, in this neighborhood, there's Timmy O'Toole's, which is a Streeterville. If you go over to Old Town, you got Declan's, and in Lincoln Park there, we got River Shannon. That's an Irish bar. Of course, Lizzie McNeil's is down that way by the river. They celebrate when they dye the river green. They have a big outdoor tent area and bagpipers and everything. Yeah, we got some really good. And then if you go down to Beverly, you got some real Southside Irish bars. You go to Bridgeport, and we went through Canaryville, some of the more historically Irish American neighborhoods here in Chicago. Southside Irish, they have their own Southside parade there on Western. The downtown one's considered the touristy parade. I saw Jay walk through this. There's some murals in this parking garage, and I didn't know that because I don't normally walk through parking garages. I don't have a car, but I noticed from watching one of her reruns, there's some interesting murals there. So what time we got? 12:43. Hey, these trees are starting to bloom out here. Let's check out this park. There used to be a big clock here where you could see the time, but I think they took the hands off because people were using as diving boards. Yeah, if you go down there, there's some murals. But we'll skip it for now because it's just we'll keep it. But hey, so you can there's a parking garage you can access over this way. So I just want to check out these trees here. Hey, look at the beautiful trees here. They call this the Ogden Plaza. We don't often walk through here. Yeah, there used to be a big clock here, or maybe it was up there. But here we got some spring, maybe it's where that skateboarder's up there. Let's go up there and see if it's still there. Where you can access a parking garage here. There's the Lowe's building. That's housing. There's the NBC tower. There you can see the Tribune. And I guess you get to the parking garage that way. Looks like they're going to put some plantings here, hopefully. Oh, they got it roped off. Well, screw it. Rules are made of broken here. I think we'll be able to make it here. Nobody's looking. I saw there's a guy. Yeah, see, there used to be a big... You could see it when you're in the high-rise buildings, like these hotels and stuff. If you look down there, you see there used to be a big clock. You see the numbers? There's 3, 12, 6, 9. It was a big clock, and I don't know if it worked at one time, if they had big arms that swung around here, the dials of the clock, but they took them off, right, because they weren't working anymore. And this is still the Ogden Plaza here in Streeterville. There's the NBC tower. So there's the Optimus signature there. Yeah, I'm a rule breaker. Don't tell anybody. People are always like, he's jaywalking. He didn't stop at that stop sign. He crossed against the light and everybody's giving me tickets. There's the Sheridan Hotel, St. Regis, Lowe's. But yeah, nice to see these trees popping. They'll really be popping on Friday when we pushing 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 70s. So this is a postmodern Art Deco gesture to a skyscraper. And it even has flying buttresses referencing the Tribune Tower. And look how you can look over to the Art Deco 333 North Michigan. And then there's the London House. And I missed this light, but that's okay. We'll head across here. So here's Don Shula has a restaurant here. Don Shula, the coach of the, what was it, the Broncos? Or the 49ers? Who was Don Shula was a coach of one of those Super Bowl teams there. And he's got a steakhouse here in the Sheridan Hotel. So this is Columbus. Dolphins. Oh, Don Shula. Yeah, Don Shula was the coach of the Dolphins. Thank you. I apologize to all the NFL fans. I should have known that. And it shows you how my brain gets things wrong. I mispronounce stuff all the time. I say things wrong. Thanks for catching me there. So yeah, Don Shula was the coach of the Miami Dolphins. There was he that team that went undefeated? I think he was after that. That was in the 70s. But those guys still get together and celebrate because I guess the New England Patriots came close, but they lost the Super Bowl. I remember that. that was when Eli Manning had that, you know, that Plaxico Burress amazing catch there on top of his head. But hey, there's the St. Regis. We'll head down to the Riverwalk. We'll head over to Michigan Avenue. Hey, 1247. Hey, we'll head under the Columbus Drive there. Yeah. Well, you know, you got us beat, you know, like I don't know enough about European soccer. And the same with American football. It's all regional. But I pay more attention to soccer when the World Cup's going on and things like that. My brother-in-law won't watch it. He says watching soccer is un-American. But he loves American football, and his kids are involved in it. His kids do play soccer, but he won't watch it because he's a Texan. That's great. We love you, Matt. That's great. So here's underneath Columbus Drive here. Sometimes I lose my connection here. You see, these are all architectural tour boats lined up here. And since it's a cold day, they're not using them all. But this summertime, they'll have all those boats in the water full. Keep those things rotating, especially on weekends. And there'll be a lot more pleasure crafts and the sea dogs and kayaks. And the river gets really congested in the summertime, which is great. A lot of activity. It's great to people watch here along the river walks. If the World Cup was to be played on your front lawn, you wouldn't open the blinds. That's awesome. See, you're a true American there, very lucky guy. Yeah, see, not even if there were some hot fans there, you know, sometimes they get some really loyal fans there showing some skin. But, yeah, soccer's not for everybody, I understand. And you got to understand, for people outside of America, they watch American baseball. They're like, "Oh, this game is so boring. How can you stand to watch this game?" Most of the times, nothing's going on, and that's true. We don't, you know, we're immersed in whatever culture we're all a part of here. But here's the Trump Tower, the Wrigley Building. Here's where you can get the cruises here. This is a dinner cruise boat. There's people on the tour. See, here's the dinner cruise boat. We see this going up and down the river sometimes, but they're not using it today. And here's the Glacier Center. Chicago River here. There you can see there's the Aon, the Prudential. These are the Hyatt Hotel. There's the Swiss Hotel. And that's all Lakeshore East. See, we walked through that park on the other side there. Let's head up the stairs. Well, we can go up to the Apple Store. Let's go up to the Apple Store since we're over here. But look at these vintage skyscrapers. Look at that grouping there. Get the 333. That white building with the point, that's called the Mather Tower. And then there's the London House. Those are all vintage 1920s skyscrapers in Chicago here. Here's where you can catch the boat there. They do the photos. They force you to take a photo, and then after you get off the boat, they're like, "You got to buy a picture. We won't let you leave." Yeah, Chicago. Oh, yeah, the Chicago Fire game against Messi was tight. Was that last night? That was this week. Yeah, Messi was in town. That was a big deal with the Chicago Fire. Thanks for mentioning that, Nick. How you doing? Yeah, I saw you've been doing the nighttime live streams. That's great. People like that you're taking that nighttime slot. That's great. So you show city at night. It'll get more active as we get into the summer tourist season, I'm sure. So here you can look straight up to the John Hancock there. Look at that. So this is the there's University of Chicago, what do they call that, the Glacier Center, and then look at that, you can look straight up to the John Hancock through the gap. This is the old Equitable building, and they just call it 401 North Michigan. There you can see across the way. And like a dummy, I messed up. I was gonna go through the Apple store, but I guess Apple stock's taking a hit because of the tariffs. So maybe I should promote it. There's the Trump, and there's the Wrigley building there. Get a nice view to these buildings across the way. Here's the Apple store. So here we'll look at it here. And if you look at it from above, it looks like a giant laptop's on the top there. It floats on the glass. You see how it works there. You can walk up the stairs there, and you go down there and get your iPhone stuff. They got usually symposiums and lectures going on. They always show you how to use their stuff there on the digital screen. Here's the Tribune Tower, Pioneers Plaza. Hey, skateboarding there. Look at that. Skating through the plaza. Just cruising. Yeah, scenes of the city here. The old Tribune building. Here, I'll just show you the top of the Apple store here. We won't spend too much time here. See what's happening here.
A sign for an event, right? You can use Apple Intelligence to actually add that event to your calendar. Right? I don't have an example here, but that is something you can do with this technology. Okay? As we close down, I want to go through a few different settings. Go back here. We didn't really talk about how to customize your action button. Your action button, if I scroll up a little bit, is going to be right here. This is going to allow you to, again, decide what type of action you want to apply to this button. So again, this is replacing that ringer volume, right? So right now mine is set to translate. If I swipe back towards the right, I can see a bunch of different options. So again, I can use this button for silent mode. If I swipe again though, I'm not going to use it for focus mode. If I get to work, I'm going to be able to automatically quickly turn on my work focus so that I'm not getting distracted phone calls or text messages.
So I think the Ernesto I met this morning was Ernesto Diaz. Ernesto Diaz gave me the bracelet. Ernesto, are you the same Ernesto that we met this morning, or there's several Ernestos? You could pick any name. And I got, you know, I'm very thankful. Thanks for getting me over 4,000 on YouTube. We got 87,000 on TikTok. So we probably got dozens and dozens of Ernestos, and I can't keep everybody's name straight. And it's hard for me as a live streamer to keep track of who's who. And especially when some people are on TikTok and some people are on YouTube and some people are both and some people are on neither. So oh yeah, you remember that happened at the Apple store. A lady walked into the glass because she didn't realize the glass was so clean and didn't realize it was a door, and she smudged her makeup on the glass and it hurt her nose. And you know, it's dangerous. That's why they put decals on the glass doors so you can tell. There's Jean Baptiste Point de Sable, people taking pictures here. We'll head across the Michigan Avenue Bridge. Look at the flags flying. Yeah, look at this nice view. We did this morning. Yeah, it's still kind of cool. It's like, what do we got? Upper 40s Fahrenheit. There's the Wrigley building. There's the Tribune Tower. Looking up Michigan Avenue. See, here's the Chicago River that we just We walked all around this. We were south of it. We were over there, now we're back. We were there looking this way, now we're this way looking that way. There's the Apple store we just went to. Here, we'll head across here. Hey, there's a large barge there. Look at the architecture crews going through there. Yeah, let's sketch it here. Riverview, Chicago. Look at that. See, these people got shorts on. It's not too bad. Taking a picture. It's really hard to get through here. You're always stopping for people taking pictures, and then there's live streamers like me that make it worse even. This is what they did. They were working on this. They added the concrete here. They smoothed this out. This was all jagged, and they smoothed it out here. So that's why there was construction here the last week or so. So here at 1256, we'll just continue down. This is where Fort Dearborn used to be. Across Wacker Drive, the Chicago Architecture Center's right there. This is Michigan Avenue looking south. This is Wacker Drive, the Marina Towers, Trump Tower. Second tallest building in Chicago. He's streaming on the bike. I do that too. Raiden Shogun. Was that at C2E2? They had the Comic-Con festival. We saw people dressed up there. Yeah, so I think this is, you're a different Ernesto. You're in Memphis. Yeah, so Ernesto M is, yeah, we had our friend here in Chicago. We got another guy named Ernesto Diaz, and he's the guy, thanks for remembering that there. He stopped me this morning right before I crossed the bridge, gave me a bracelet. And like I said, we got multiple Ernestos, we got multiple Chris's, we got multiple, you pick a name. Well, it's a good problem to have. It shows we're all connected here. And we got people tuning in from Memphis, we got people tuning in from Ireland, Liverpool, Australia, around the world. It's great. Thanks for people for tuning in, all corners of the globe. People tuning in from Africa and Asia and South America. It's great. Brazil. Nah, the Magic family there. She's from Genshin. That's good. Yeah, it is the life. Yeah, there's a Trump Tower in Chicago. They built it in 2009. Yeah. No, it's okay, Dia. It happens to all of us. Hey, look at that cute dog. But yeah, the Bulls play the Miami Heat tonight. We'll see if they can win tonight, then they'll continue to play into the playoffs. At least they got a chance. They were in this exact same situation last year, and they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. And this year, see if they... It's going to be a close game. The line's like plus or minus 1. So it's really tight game. They're probably going to come down to the last second shot. We'll see what happens. And I don't know if I'm going over there tonight or not. Probably not. But I'm going to head back to work here. We'll check the markets. And yeah, Jerome Powell supposedly in Chicago. I don't know where he's speaking at. He's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Maybe he already spoke. Sometimes if he speaks, it kind of affects the market or not. Fed's pretty good at talking a lot. There's a one wheel. So that's like what Duran rides in LA there. You saw Duran was in Europe. Duran's been traveling. All these other live streamers, they got money to travel. Good for them. But hey, thanks everybody for tuning in here. We'll show you scenes in Chicago. And we'll be on TikTok tonight after 5. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to my moderators. And thanks for coming along for the ride here. We'll see you later today, and we'll keep on trucking here. Yeah, see you, Julie, Stephanie, Michael, Dolores, Julie Reed, Lamby T, Chris, and Michael, and Ernesto. All the Ernestos. Dia Blaze, Betty. Thanks everybody. Alejandro. We'll see y'all later there. The Bulls are playing the Miami Heat tonight. Miami Heat, I think it's at 6:30 there. So we'll see. We'll talk to you later. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate it.